Hi, I'm Forrest Taylor. I'm a curriculum architect at Red Hat. I'll be showing you how to download and install the CloudForms appliance into Red Hat OpenStack platform. First, you want to download the CloudForms appliance from access.redhat.com. So I'll go there, log in to my account, and then go to the downloads page. Down at the bottom, there's a quick links downloads. I'll go there. Then I need to find the CloudForms download page, which is under Cloud Products. Click on the Red Hat CloudForms link, and that will take me to the link that has all of the CloudForms appliances. You'll note that there are appliances for Azure, for EC2, for Google Cloud, for Hyper-V, Rev, and of course OpenStack. So I'll download the OpenStack virtual appliance. Next, I'll show you some of the prerequisites that are needed in OpenStack in order to get the CloudForms appliance running. First, I'll log in as admin in the portal. Then I'll go to flavors and show you the M1.large flavor that most closely represents the prerequisites that are needed for CloudForms. First, it has four CPUs, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and an 80 gig root disk. That is very close to the minimum specs that are needed for CloudForms. So we'll simply use the M1.large flavor. If you wanted to, you could configure your own flavor and use that for the CloudForms instance. I also configured some networking. I created a private network and a public network that is used for external access. I've created a floating IP address that will be used, and a router, of course, too, to manage all of the network. Under the Projects tab, I'll take a look at Access and Security, where I see I've got a security group called CF-SecGRP, and that provided access through SSH and to port 443 for secure HTTP. I created a key pair that can be used for the instance called CF-key, and I also created a floating IP address that can be used by the instance in order to access various other virtual machines that can be managed using CloudForms. Next, I'll show you some of the configuration that I've done within OpenStack on my OpenStack machine. So I'll SSH over to that machine. I'm going to show you in etc nova.conf some of the configurations that I've done. If I look for notification underscore, and in fact, if you'll notice, the notification underscore topics is notifications, and notification underscore driver is messaging. These two settings are used by CloudForms in order to snoop in on some of the OpenStack traffic that is going on there. The other file I'll show you is in heat. If we look at etc heat.conf, I'll show you that there is a notification underscore driver that has been changed to the RPC notifier, and the notification underscore topics is set to notifications as well. These two changes allow us to, the CloudForms appliance, to snoop in on what the heat templates are doing on the OpenStack side. With these changes, I've shown you how to configure OpenStack in order to allow the appliance for CloudForms to run properly. Now let's go ahead and configure the CloudForms appliance. I'm in the OpenStack machine at this point, and now I want to run some commands in order to upload the image and launch an instance using that image. First, we'll start by sourcing the Keystone RC file for admin in this case. Could be any user if you wanted to, but we'll keep it simple and use the admin interface. Then we'll upload the image. So we'll use the OpenStack unified command, OpenStack image create. The disk format is QCOW2. That's the CloudForms appliance image that you just downloaded. Here's the name of the file. And your version number may be different, of course. And then I want to call the name of the image CloudForms. That will then create the image within OpenStack that I can now use to launch a virtual machine. So OpenStack server create. We'll use that image name, CloudForms. We'll use the m1.large flavor. We'll use the cf-secgrp security group. Again, I've pre-configured that. We'll use the key name of cf-key, and the network name is private. That's the private network that I've previously created. We'll wait for the prompt to return after the virtual machine has been built, and we'll call the name of the instance CloudForms. Now we'll wait while it builds the CloudForms instance using the image that we've downloaded from access.redhat.com. Now that the instance has been created and started, let's go ahead and add a floating IP address. So I'll use that 172.25.250.20 floating IP address that I've created previously and add that to the CloudForms. I'll use the 172.25.250.20 floating IP address that I've previously created and add it to the CloudForms instance. Once that's added, it should now have access to the external world, and I have access to into the virtual machine as well. So let's test it. So I'll SSH into the 172.25.250.20 IP address. Asks if I want to accept the host key. I'll say yes. The password for the CloudForms appliance is smartvm, all lowercase, all one word. And then it says, welcome to the appliance console, and it tells me to run the appliance_console. Alternately, I could use the SSH key that I've pre-configured. SSH-I cf-key.pem using the same floating IP address, and notice this time it lets me log in without requiring a password. So this is the point at which you can do the initial configuration for CloudForms, and that's what we have you go through in class. This again was part of the CL220 Red Hat CloudForms Hybrid Cloud Management course. Good luck on the class.